Yes. Oh, you know what that sound means. Time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and the Cheese. Round 23. The penultimate round of the 2024 F1 season. Season's returned back to the Middle East for the third time. We race in Qatar. Qatar's known for its oil and gas field. Qatar has the largest natural gas field in the world. Did you know that, sir?
I did. That's why people know Qatar, sir.
It also hosts the 2022 World Cup. And then while you're there, if you want to check and relax on Banana Island, just an island and resort, that's it. You just party it down. And of course, when you're in Qatar, you have to go see the robot jockeys at the camel races. It is a must-see. Must-see. The machines are taking over, sir.
it's like C2.
What you got?
Listen, whenever you go to the Middle East, you gotta get my favorite dessert. That's the kanafe. It's pronounced different ways. I know it is kanafe. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it, but it's like the cheesecake of the Middle East. You know me and cheesecake, or any cake in general. So you gotta hit that up. Don't miss those desserts when you're in the Middle East. That's what you're missing. Everyone goes for the chicken and the rice. Cheesecakes there all over the world.
I'm always down for cheesecake. But this ain't no travel show. This is an F1 show. And we're racing another sales circuit. 3.36 miles, 16 corners, 1 DRS zone. You give it the full beans for 61% of your lap. And oh man, did we get a wild one today. Kerfuffle right off of the bat in turn 1. Crashes followed, and then pit stops began, and then all freaking hell broke loose. Kerfuffles, penalties, it was madness. But then in the end, Max takes the win, Leclerc second, Oscar Piastri rounds out to take third. Lots to unpack after that one, boys and girls. We are caffeinated, we are medicated. Let's effing go.
You're slamming the Red Bull down on the table as if Red Bull's Constructors Championships are done, as I believe they are, as well as we hit this week. Ferrari's chances were almost out the window. I know people are pissing and moaning about the insane situation with Lando Norris. It's probably the top story of the day here is Lando Norris's crazy massive penalty. I think he calculated around 38 seconds. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Yeah, we're just getting about an hour past race time here, so I'm sure there's more stuff even coming out as we're speaking. I was a little hesitant to even come on this early because you might have other penalties on top of penalties to change the results as we see them. But here we are, ready to roll, and a race for the history books. Man, if Max Verstappen was still not officially the champion, this would have been even more wild. If he won today and won the title today instead of in Vegas, with everything that went on today, a lot of restarts. Stop and go was probably the terminology of the day here, because we had a lot of stop and goes between all the safety cars, between everything going on as far as bumping and grinding and self-inflicted wounds. 8 different teams ending up in the top 10. How did you feel about today, man? Obviously, it was a wild day.
It was just absolutely wild. Changes that Red Bull made for Max going into the race part of the weekend after the sprint, they were spot on because Max was just dominant. But the big talking points are just going to be probably just the penalties, the severity of the penalties. New race director, trying to maybe show himself a little too much. stepping over some of the penalties probably didn't fit the crime. Big one probably Lando. Probably the biggest of it all. Yes, he was, in the wrong for not lifting in the yellow. Fact.
Facts.
But for a stop and go, that's severe. That doesn't fit the crime. I could see that being, time penalty or something. Maybe a drive through at most, but stop and go is
still
a bit.
17 seconds.
I think the pit delta was 27.
That's a hell of a. I mean, obviously, you can't be moving at full speed under yellow, under anything.
Double wave yellows, but
right.
But
so you're really
maybe
obviously
a time, maybe like a 10-second penalty.
Is Lando?
Time
here's
penalty?
the ultimate question, dude. Is Lando just not that in tune? There's been these little things that have separated, and you've said it yourself. Been these little things that have shown that Lando Norris is not and does not have what a Schumacher or a Vettel or a Lewis Hamilton have. Things like this, is this proof of it, or is this just business as usual and it could happen to anyone? Like, what showed you today that Lando Norris is not that champion level driver, if anything?
I mean, it's a lapse in concentration. I mean, everybody else was letting off going through there. It's a lapse in concentration. And as you just said, that probably he doesn't have the it factor, because you can't make little mistakes like this if you're trying to win a world title. Plain and simple. You don't see Max doing that, do you?
No. Listen, speaking of titles, the constructors' title is balls to the wall on the line. Yeah. On the line.
Well, Ferrari's just gonna have to go for it. That's all it's gonna happen.
Absolutely. It's gonna be Ferrari.
They have to go.
I don't even know the math, but can a Ferrari 1-2 take it no matter what, or it's got to be Ferrari 1-2?
It's 21 points right now.
So Ferrari 1-2 will not take it if it's McLaren 3-4. I got to do math. I got to get a pen and paper.
Get out the calculators.
And listen, the fact that Sergio Perez, I'm sorry, not Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz hit that damn mirror.
Well, he hit the debris and got a puncture. Bottas hit the mirror.
Well, Bottas hit the mirror. Whatever
ran
was
that
left
over.
of the mirror. Whatever was left of the mirror.
Yeah, it was all over the track.
On that. And then couldn't pass Pierre Gasly. What was that? 8 laps, 9 laps. He was behind him. Those were
he definitely.
Points
I would guarantee he definitely had some kind of floor damage after that.
Absolutely. And you can see because when he was in the pit, they kind of picked that car up.
Well, they had to pick it up because he couldn't get the jack under it when there's a flat tire.
So that was an absolute disaster. And
to come back, though, and still finish where he did was pretty damn impressive, though.
Impressive. I'm not saying it wasn't impressive. I'm just saying he got the whole screw job on that one.
Well, yeah.
And listen, I'm yelling and I'm pounding because I want him to freaking pass so Haas can pick up some points. Now that's done. Haas is done. They have no chance of 6 now. Sitting pretty, like 6 was a given, and god damn it, they're going to come in 7th. All because of that. They had a chance. I think it was done, and I said this at Quali. I said this at Quali in Vegas, where just Alpine had that pace and to finish. But who cares about the back? We're talking about the front. Congratulations to Max Verstappen for winning once again, as he shows that he is not to be messed with going into 2025. No. And the rumors that Max Verstappen's career is done are far from that. The rumors that Sergio Perez's career will continue are also far from that too. We'll get to that a little bit later, I am sure.
Yes.
Anything else you got, sir, for the top of them stories?
I mean, Max he's just that dude right now.
He's back.
You know,
he's back.
He can take the car when it's duff and still make it do things that other people can't. I mean, look where his teammate is. Yeah, Perez just stink, but, you know, he isn't the same car. He is a Formula One driver.
I'm sure we will have some really wonderful off-season shows that will represent Red Bull and Sergio Perez in the best of light, I'm sure.
Well, it's a weekly saga now.
It is.
It's like a soap opera. It's like a soap opera.
Well, soap operas are daily.
As Sergio turns.
As you really can't make it up.
No. It's like a soap opera. Every week it's something else.
But anyway, dude, speaking of every week it's something else, I'm strapping on my helmet and I'm ready for a lap around 3 sectors, as always, because I'm sure you have queued up Quizmaster's Cockpit, the rich history of the Qatar Grand Prix. So I'm sure you have lots of questions. I have no idea what you're going to ask. It's hard to study for a quiz of Qatarian Grand Prix history. But I'll try my best.
Well, since this is only the third one, there's nothing really to do with the Qatar Grand Prix whatsoever. These are just F1 history questions.
Right on. Right on. Shitty and gritty yours, because you know I'm not going to get none of them right.
I think you can do quite well today.
Oh, which means I'm going to absolutely bomb. You just put the kibosh on that deal.
The Commentator's curse?
Absolutely.
All right, then. Quizmaster's Cockpit, question 1. Are you ready?
Sure.
Qatar's a night race. Which country hosted the first night race in Formula One?
Damn good question. Why am I drawing a total blank?
I don't know.
It wasn't the U.S. It should be an easy one.
This is quite easy.
It's the first country. Saudi Arabia?
No. That's awful. One, because Saudi's a newish Grand Prix, number 1. The answer is Singapore.
That's right. Outright.
Because if you remember, Bahrain was a day race for the first number of years before they switched it to a night race. So, as per the usual, we are off to a flying start. Flying start. Question number 2. Now I have no faith. I think you're going to fail them all now.
I told you that before you asked the first question.
Which team won their first Grand Prix race as a constructor at the 2009 Spanish Grand Prix?
I don't know. Red Bull?
No. That is incorrect. Braun GP.
Oh, Braun. It was on the tip of my freaking...
I thought you would have got that one.
Yeah, that was an easy one, too.
Told you.
That was an easy
Had
one.
faith in you going in, and you've dropped the ball. 0 for 2. Can we get one this week?
Probably not, but let's try.
Which Grand Prix takes place on an artificial island?
Canadian GP?
No.
Isn't that an artificial island?
Not totally. The answer is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where we're going to next week.
I didn't know that was a fake island.
Well, most things down there are made because they kept just making things bigger.
You got so much room over there.
Well, yeah, that's so they had to make more room. So, you make islands. That's what you got to do. Some of them are pretty cool looking. The palm tree looking one, that's pretty badass.
Pretty badass. All right, so that was a complete
But that's
fail.
0 for 3, sir. So that'll take us right into losers.
You usually don't go over 3.
Usually don't go 0 for 3.
Those weren't too difficult either, but keep going.
So, let's see.
I had a heck of a long weekend here. A lot of turkey. I'm feeling it.
I think everybody here had a lot of turkey.
Well, if you're...
Did you go on a bender?
So I did. I did. I was like waking up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, opening the fridge and getting some food, and that messes you up. I'm too old to do that. I'm too old to go down and like go on those like midnight snack runs. You got the munchies like a mofo, and you're just like ramming stuff, and you're just up. It's not good. So here I am.
It's not good.
So here I am. We obviously got to go into losers. What do you got?
I'm going to give you one.
We got a bunch of them.
Yeah, you could go to a lot of places. Esteban Ocon. Just right off the bat. Matt just smashing people right off the bat. I mean, disastrous, to be honest. Screaming at people. He was yelling at the team last week. We'll get into a rumor that is fresh out of the paddock today, or right after the race. So we'll get into that later with Esteban Ocon, but just absolute mess. So he's a big loser.
Can't wait to have him join the team.
What's that?
I said I can't wait to have him join the team.
Yeah, maybe you guys should get on the phone and break that deal and go after Colapinto or something.
That's not happening.
Do something.
We'll get to Colapinto in a minute, but go ahead.
I don't. Wasn't his fault, but just George Russell, the pit stop disaster, completely ruined his day. Being up front, that was just bad. 7-second pit stop, couldn't get the tire off. Disaster.
When you can play the Benny Hill music over some of these pit stops, you know it's not good.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. That's bad
It's
news.
a song in your own head.
But those would be mine.
Right? I mean, you had the Lance Stroll disaster right from the beginning again.
Yep, another one.
Just again and again and again. I don't know when that's going to end. Colapinto is just a mess right off the bat. Right off the bat.
Well, no offense. Ocon caused that to happen. He was just there and had nowhere to go, and he got wrecked out. He didn't do anything wrong there. He was just wrong place, wrong time for him at the start of the race. But I think that also was like what they say during the broadcast, that was Williams' 60th crash of the season, or something going wrong for them this season. That's out of control. So that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, I mean the whole Williams team and those poor people in the garage.
That's bad.
It's the whole thing's a disaster. The whole thing's a disaster. I mean Alex Albon was no better.
No.
There's just a whole freaking list, and I'll give Lando Norris a big old loser as well for moving under that double yellow flag. I know the penalty was ridiculous. We'll get to that in a minute, but you shouldn't have been moving.
Well, you should have slowed down. You let off.
It's your own damn fault. It's your own damn fault. I know it's unjust. I know it screwed up the whole thing. I know it really sucks to go behind so many cars because you're coming off the yellow flag. We'll get to that, all that in a minute. But still, Lando, you were nowhere to be found all weekend, really. I mean, you started second row. It's not like you were taking the lead early there.
I mean, he did pretty much win the sprint race yesterday and gave it to Oscar at the end.
Like you needed to. That was noble. I like that from yesterday, but that's all forgotten now after that disaster that he had today. Mm-hmm. And those are my losers.
That's fair.
Which takes us right to winners. Yeah, it's amazing how that gets forgotten about. By the way, if Lando finished podium or fourth, we would have been talking about him letting Piastri by him as retribution, I guess, or not. The retribution is the wrong word.
Payback to Brazil.
A thank you from Brazil. So I think that's what we've been talking about. Now we're talking about a whole other situation, and again, we'll get to that in a moment. But those are my losers.
All right, so that'll take us to winners. So I'm going to go with Pierre Gasly. 5th place finish. Pierre has been cooking of late. He has been cooking. So, and with that Alpine, which has improved drastically from the beginning of the season, but he's doing things right now. So give it up to Pierre, fifth place. Probably giving Alpine that 6th place. By himself, because he's not getting no help from Ocon, who's just been a mess the last few. He's just been a mess this last few races. Although Esteban did really help him out there with that 2nd place there in Brazil, but the last couple of races he's been nowhere. So, and my other winner, you have to do it. Zhou points in the Sauber. How about that? How about that? They were actually looking pretty damn good all weekend.
They were looking good all weekend, and listen, there was a lot that went wrong to put them in that situation, but it wasn't like he finished 10th. Dude finished 8th. They went from 0 points to 4 points, launching them all the way remaining in 10th. But you know what? If they had this going a month ago, the way Williams has been over the last 5-6 races, they really could have made a dent and took themselves out of the basement. It's a little bit too late for Sauber to do anything, but it could be a good showing for next year for sure. Getting off on the right foot, but here putting up points. Bottas justifiably finishing in 11th, could have finished in 10th if Lando Norris. I don't know. Maybe
he also got wrecked there during the race penalty, too. So. He also got hit by Lawson earlier in the race too.
You didn't think he was going to come back. There was so many DNFs that really only had 15 drivers on, so it really gave an advantage to the back of the field and really helped keep Bottas in the race, especially with all the restarts basically we had with all the safety cars. So safety cars got some miles today, man. Got some miles on that car.
Yeah, Burt Mylander did some driving today.
Burt did some driving today. Yeah, I wrote one word before the race started. That word was punishing. It was going to be a punishing day, and it really was for a lot of these drivers. All right. That's all you got, sir?
Those are my winners.
I mean, right off the bat, Oscar Piastri became the number 1 driver today for McLaren and put them in a position, fought hard against Russell and kept himself on the podium. And, really gives a boost to McLaren there because McLaren really needed that. Every single point matters at this point for McLaren. Forget about the individual drivers. It's all about every single point right now for McLaren to help them win this Constructors' Championship. It will go down to the last race. So exciting. And also on the podium as well. I mean, I'm going to give a double podium today also. Charles Leclerc. We didn't even talk about it. We didn't talk about Charles Leclerc finishing 2nd, coming way back. Obviously, we're going to get him from 5th to 2nd. I don't know, way back. But finishing on the podium against all odds.
Yeah, well, that Lando penalty sure helped him out. So
definitely, but he still would have finished 3rd. It was a combination of the Lando penalty and the Russell pit stop, and Ferrari didn't have those problems today. The only problem they had was Carlos Sainz hitting that debris and keeping him basically out of fifth, potentially even fighting Russell for fourth.
Absolutely.
That's what I got. There's so much more, by the way. So much more. We didn't talk about Lewis Hamilton tapping out.
Yeah.
Or trying to, at least. Get to that. So much happened today. Holy moly. But, sir, as always, there's one thing that we have to get to, especially in the desert.
I need to slap my goddamn for that. I need to slap my goddamn for that. I need to...
All right, relax there. He's really getting over anxious on the slap thing.
I think you have to give it to the FIA. How do you not have a safety car with that mirror where it was? You knew that thing was going to get hit. It's the only spot to pass on the whole bloody track.
Of course it was going to get hit.
I mean, and then you throw the safety, then you bring the safety car out like a lap or so after the thing already got hit and just threw debris everywhere. And then two drivers get punctures. And then you go, oh yeah, maybe we should throw the safety. Maybe we should throw the flag and bring out the safety car. Absolutely disastrous. Then you go with the new race director trying to show his muscles or something like that in his first Grand Prix with his absolutely severe penalties. I mean, just an absolute disastrous day for the FIA. Just absolutely disastrous, in my humble damn opinion. Get out the powder, throw some sand in your hand, get that sting, and slap your goddamn self. Madness.
Slap your goddamn self. I don't know what they were thinking. The penalty was like they were making it up as they went along, and they really... I don't know if that was an opportunity. I'm going to go put my tinfoil hat on right now. We should have a tinfoil hat corner segment on this show, because I got some good ones. But this is my tinfoil hat moment here. Is maybe they wanted to find a situation.
Oh my God.
To create a situation to have something to race for next weekend and to keep Ferrari in it. I mean, most likely McLaren's going to win this, as far as the constructors are concerned. But
so you're claiming conspiracy, sir?
I'm claiming they're creating entertainment. They're creating a moment of entertainment. Ooh, is Ferrari going to win? I mean, McLaren and Ferrari, that's no joke. This is no joke as far as the fan base is concerned. Because we got obviously a lot of Ferrari fans. You know, Ferrari's like synonymous with like...
I mean, well, if
the
you want to go there, then
and the Dallas Cowboys and
a 10-second penalty would have did that, because if you give Lando a 10-second time penalty, he's dropping back behind Leclerc, probably behind Piastri too. He's probably down to fifth or so.
Oh, you want to make absolute certain? Let the drama go. We got drama in 7 days. That's what we got. Okay? Because those who didn't watch the race, and really those who only watched the last race of the season. Like, remember when they did double points for the last race of the season?
Yeah.
So to add to they want that drama. Formula One doesn't have a Super Bowl. They don't have the championship match. They don't have...
the Super Bowl is like the 7th, 8th race of the year in Monaco.
But that's not really, like, auto racing doesn't have the way it's structured. A winner can happen at any time midway to the end of the season, right? Anytime.
Yeah.
So you don't know when, as a casual fan, to watch. You're forced to watch every race up to a certain point, or beginning at a certain point, to be able to watch when the champion is crowned, if that's what you're into, which millions of people are, right? Millions of people just want to watch the champion get crowned and everyone going bananas and shooting champagne in their face and people crying and they won the title. People like that shit, okay? Like, they make movies about that shit, all right? That's what people want to see, and they want to see it live. But you don't know when to see that. You don't know when to watch that. Traditionally. You got a hint, you got a hunch, you got a possibility this is the time they're going to win it, you know. I know when I'm watching the Masters that on Sunday that we're going to have a champion crowned, right? I know that. I know it's not going to be like 3 weeks after that.
Right.
So it's
fair.
It's the drama. All right, tinfoil hat's coming off. What we're talking about?
Would you black out?
I'm sorry. All right. Are you ready, sir?
Of course.
You got your hiking boots on because we're going to the top of the hill.
Well, you know what that sound means. It's time for the best damn sound of the week, sir. If you take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greentopia, where the beer flows like wine and the wine flows like beer. And the cannabis, oh yes, grows as far as the eyes can see. Look at it. Look at it out there. Green and luscious. Oh, would you take a little puff there? A little cough, I hear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Take a little whiff.
It's a vacation weekend.
Oh, it's a holiday weekend, baby. And that air smells fantastic. Take a little walk to the top of the hill, the casino at the top. We cash it in or are we checking out? Think you're checking out.
I didn't lose as much as I thought I did. Listen, I loved Charles Leclerc for the podium this week, even starting fifth. He looked great all weekend. I was surprised where he finished in qualifying, and obviously he shows up on podium. That was a plus 225. You put that as well. That saved my ass getting a plus 225 because I only lost like 300 greeny bucks. I had Russell for the win, plus 180. That didn't happen. Yuki Tsunoda top 10. Thought he would, grow a pair here and put up that, plus 185. That didn't happen. I had both Haas's finishing in the points because that was plus 400, and I believed. And if it wasn't for Nico's, pretty much disaster of a day, I believe they had a shot. There. But it didn't happen. And then the trifecta of Russell, Norris, Piastri, that was trash. We had a heck of a rainbow. 5 different teams finishing in the top 5 today. So we were all over the place. I put 200 greeny bucks a piece on that. I did not strike it rich. Lost about 300 plus. Hedged it, put 1,000 greeny bucks on the line. Puts me at about 1,600 greeny bucks remaining for the season. It might be an all-in next week on some plus 1,000 trifecta. But if I hit that, then it's party time, baby. So we'll see. You didn't do much better. You also took Leclerc. Nope. You were feeling that as well, plus 225. You won that, but you had Yuki top 10 as well. McLaren double podium, that didn't happen at plus 130. Lando for the win, plus 225. That didn't happen either. You put up 500 greeny bucks. You won back 325, so you took a 175 hit versus my 300 plus hit. So obviously you take a slightly more lead, but you were down at about 4,600 greeny bucks after starting around 5,000. So even though you were slightly under ROI, not where I am, which is start selling vital organs zone. You're at you're at put some Star Wars toys on eBay. I'm at who needs a kidney? So we're at different stages of being under ROI for the season.
Oh, gosh.
ROI. But that's gambling for
All right. Well, you know what that means. There's only one more thing left here. It's time for In the News.
In the news. We got news.
We do have news. We're going to start off with the first one, the funny one. Did you see Max Verstappen's interviews after the Grand Prix in Vegas, as he was just smashed? And he's on, I think, Dutch TV, and he's drinking Red Bulls and vodkas, and he's pouring it live, and he's drinking it live, and he's just getting more. And as you see him do other interviews, the eyes get more and more squinted closed as the drunker and drunker the man got. It was funny as all hell, dude. Did you see? I was crying.
I did see. I appreciate all the fans noticing, but what I don't appreciate, especially for the American fans, is they should understand what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So let the man get toasted. He won a championship.
He just won a world
Vegas.
title
In Las Vegas. If you won a championship, if you won $1,000 at the roulette table in Las Vegas, you'd be cherry-eyed for a week. So don't tell me about anyone else.
I partied hard. I partied hard when I was in Vegas. So.
You partied hard when you were.
It didn't really matter.
So it did not matter.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
The man just won the championship of the world. Drink those Red Bulls and vodka.
My other favorite thing I saw about that as well was George Russell saying, I saw Max in the bar at 9 a.m. as I was heading for the airport. That's a party, baby.
That's a party. Listen, when you have energy like that, you can't compete on the level of athletics if you don't have a certain level of motor that most human beings don't have. And Max Verstappen has that engine that most humans don't have. And to be able to party like that for that long, the man was pumped, he was relieved, and his legacy goes on forever now. His legacy is cemented at, 26?
Yep.
And your legacy is cemented forever. You have hundreds of millions of dollars. You could just retire and be done, and you accomplished all your dreams in less time than it takes most people to figure out what the hell they want to do with their lives. And you've conquered an industry before most people even know what the hell they want to do for their jobs. So kudos to him. Get wasted. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What else you got for me?
Big fire rumor out of the paddock post-race. Reports are saying Jack Doohan will be racing in Abu Dhabi in place of Esteban Ocon.
I mean, it's Ocon's last race with the company.
And apparently, I saw this in the post-race interviews when they interviewed what's-his-face there over at Alpine, the team principal there, and they asked him, what's this happening? And he said he didn't know. Apparently, Esteban said something in the post interviews to the press. So some things could be happening. Esteban could be out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. The guy's
it's been ugly. It's been ugly the last few weeks.
The man has 7 more days of employment. Guy gets another couple paychecks probably till the end of the year, and he's done. He's coming over to Haas. Great, fantastic, yippee-ki-yay. For those who don't know, I'm a Haas fan, so that'll be great. And hopefully this will humble him out a little bit. It probably won't, but hopefully it'll humble him out a little bit.
No.
But it probably won't, and it'll be a disaster next year. The guy can race, but that doesn't matter at this point. Obviously,
can race when he wants to race.
He's not better than Pierre Gasly, so
No.
that's his teammate. So
In our
just as good. All right, what else you got?
in our final story, as the weekly saga, as Sergio turns, Perez could still be out of a job after the season's over, and the shareholders apparently are going to have a meeting to decide his fate. Well, if I was a shareholder, I don't know which way I'd be voting.
What's the argument for him?
I don't know. I don't know.
Outside of marketing, it's got to be some certain type of marketing, and who can you replace
Some kind of
him
sponsor
with
money, maybe?
to not lose certain sponsorships? It's going to be some technical, financial stuff that we don't know about, that we don't understand, that's going to say, listen, if you get rid of Checo, then these three companies don't want to do business, and who's going to replace that money, and yada, 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 more and more financial, I wouldn't say bullshit, but it's not. It's what's keeping the team and investors happy. Investors aren't going to get paid. I know we all complain, well, investors can make less money. They don't care. They won't invest in it if they can make a better investment somewhere else. So they're going to be looking out for their own money. It depends what Checo's selling, where, and how. Formula One's a global sport. There could be markets that we don't even know about, that we don't even understand, that are having hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, and we just don't understand. So that's what it's. This is a business decision. What pisses me off is that the only business you're in is to win races. So that's where it conflicts with the sport. They're going to make a business decision on whether they can have enough money, I guess, to run the team and make enough money off of it. They don't want to go back to the board and say, hey, we made 2% less than we would have if we... And everyone bitches and complains about their 2% and cries, and then someone's going to lose their job. So...
Well, you make more money
this year at Red Bull is pathetic. What's happened this year at Red Bull is pathetic.
Man.
Keeping Checo Perez in there, it's been ridiculous. The guy is clearly not qualified for his job. If I raced like that, if I was like that at my job, I would lose my job, justifiably so. That's it. That's it.
That's fair.
If your expectation is podium and you don't even near there ever, the expectation for Red Bull is podium every week.
I don't know. My decision on that summed it up during the sprint race Saturday, to be honest. You saw the beginning of that, right?
Oh,
when he started from the pit lane, and the light was green, and he just sat there and didn't move, and Colapinto actually had to go around him.
I wouldn't want to move either. There's nothing...
That was disastrous.
There's nothing for you out there, Sergio Perez. There's nothing for you. If you can't podium, there's nothing for you out there. Because even if you come in 5th or 6th, it's not even like, people around you are going to pat you on the back, but it's almost like a Bronx cheer. It's like going 0 for 12 and finally getting like some single that dribbles through the infield. For the baseball terminology and those who understand that. But anyway... What do we got coming up to close out the season, sir?
Oh, the season finale in 7 days in Abu Dhabi. Big time. Ferrari has to go for it, throw it all in, push it all to the middle of the table, balls to the wall. Freaking go for it. Go for that.
That's what we got to root for.
Go for that
McLaren
constructor.
Or Ferrari.
Throw it all in.
Will it be McLaren? Will it be Ferrari? It's amazing that we have something to root for in the last race. I'm sure Formula One loves it. And I know they're not going to cash in like they did in 2021 with Verstappen and Lewis.
Yeah.
And Lewis Hamilton's last race with Mercedes.
Yep.
That's kind of a big deal. And I don't think we made a big enough deal of that. And the send-off was looking not as ceremonial and romantic as we might have envisioned it a couple years ago. All right, let's just say that this will not be the kumbaya that other drivers have had to end an illustrious career, and there are very few drivers, very few, that have had the opportunity to be where Lewis Hamilton has been and given what he has had to Mercedes and having a really, I would say, unceremonious, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. I'm very curious to see. Say what you got to say, brother.
As always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.